always thought that one of the big things that impacted my life, and I've kind of kept it with me, is every once in a while a dog comes into your life and changes everything. And that's what Lucky did for us. He changed our whole life because he became such a part of it.
Hi, this is Bruce Dobbs, and I am here with my good friend and client, Al Lostocco. And we want to talk about the Lucky Premium Treat story. Love your dog, then you need to hear this story. So, Al, how you doing today?
I'm doing okay.
Good.
I'm kind of excited about doing this. This is the first YouTube I've ever done, so if I sound stupid, forget about it. It's just me. Anyway, this is really a story of the love of one dog, Lucky. I got Lucky 12 years ago, and he was such a beautiful little dog, and it was supposed to be my children's dog. They did a PowerPoint presentation to present to my wife to get a dog because she didn't want one. Well, they did the power presentation, we got the dog, and they made all these promises, but it ended up being me that had to do everything to take care of him. So Lucky became my dog. He and I have been together we're together for 17 years, 11 months. And losing him was probably one of the toughest things of my life. But came out of it is Lucky Treats. The way we started this thing is I was buying treats for Lucky at Target, chicken wrapped rawhides. I'd bring them home and Lucky would eat the chicken off and leave them. And after a while I said, you know what, I probably could do this just about as good as they did. So I bought chicken, bought a little slicer like you see behind me, bought a dehydrator like you see behind me, and started making the damn things. And at first I did it in the kitchen, and then I started wrapping, and I bought dehydrator. And then I had neighbors that kept saying, gee whiz, I really like these, can I buy some? So I started selling them, and then the next thing I know, somebody told me I ought to put them on eBay. I'd put them on eBay. Then somebody said you should do a website, so I did the website. And it's been one step after another, and it's gone from one product, a chicken wrapped dog treat, to like 160 products. So anyway, we started with these here, the chicken wrapped rawhides. People buy these at the store, and the problem with them, and this is part of the problem of buying products that come from overseas. Here's what you got to understand about products that are made in China, Thailand, and all these countries. Now, there's nothing wrong with their products. Their products are good. But the problem is that, they wrap the chicken back in China, and then after they wrap it, they dehydrate it, they put it in a warehouse, it sits there for maybe a month, then it goes on a ship, the ship is on the water for over a month, then it gets here to the US, and it goes into some warehouse, a Costco warehouse, a Target warehouse, one of those warehouses, and then over the course of the next month or two, it goes to the store, and then you buy it. Now, how long's that been? Let's total up. We're talking about 6-7 months before you get the treat. Well, when was the last time you bought a cookie or something at a grocery store and you said, God, these are stale? Well, what makes you think the dog isn't just as smart? He knows when it's stale. So the difference with what we make and what comes from overseas, not that there's anything wrong with it, is that what we make it here in the US. Within a week or two, it's in our warehouse. Within another week, it's packaged. Within another week, you've got it. So in the course of maybe less than a month, we go from producing the dog treat and it's in your house. So the dog can smell and taste the difference because it's fresh. Dogs' senses are thousands of times stronger than ours. So when they get this dog treat, the other difference is that with us, and the chicken is wrapped tight around it.
But where do you get the chicken?
Oh, the chicken's all U.S. chicken. We buy the chicken here. Most of it comes from Georgia and whatnot. Actually, when we started, we used to buy the chicken at Costco.
Oh, really?
If you can, yeah, because we were only buying small quantities back then, and so we've always stayed with buying U.S. food grade products. So everything we use, you could just as well pop in your oven and cook the chicken, cook the sweet potatoes, cook the steaks, and all the different products that we use. So we use nothing that is not edible by people, but obviously for legal reasons, we have to say this is for dogs only.
Well, let's tell me a little bit about this idea of you making it in your home, in your basement. What challenges did the neighbors say? Tell me about that.
It was real challenging because initially we started making them. They started picking up, and so I bought a dehydrator, a big one, and I put it in the basement of my house. And my neighbors, they didn't like the fucking thing. I started getting complaints that they could smell rotten chicken out in the garbage. Eventually, I got what we used to do is we'd bring our employees, they'd park someplace else. I'd go pick them up in the morning and bring them up to the house and pull into the garage, and we'd shut the garage door and they'd get out and they'd run to the basement, kind of like a bunch of criminals, And they'd work all day, and then I would take them back to get their cars at the end of the evening. So it worked out good until the city of, not Atlanta, of Sandy Springs caught on that we were doing this, and I started getting notices on my door that says, you can't produce, you can't do manufacturing in a residential area. They said I had to move. So we looked for a space, we found our first space, we built it out, and we operated there. Of course, we made a lot of mistakes along the way. We had our,
Tell me about some of the mistakes you made along the way.
Oh, shoot. We put our grease trap, we built it inside the building in the ground. And so every time the guy would come to clean the grease trap, the whole area would stink, and the people in areas next to us were complaining because they could smell chicken in there, especially chicken from what do you call it? Grease trap. Mm-hmm. So we had to find another place. So we started looking, and we moved here. We went from the house to 5,000 square feet. Yeah. And my wife comes out the first time we started this little deal, and she looks at this 5,000 square feet, and she says, "What the fuck are you going to do with all this space?" I said, "Well, I'm going to open the garage door in the back, pull my car in, so I can park it inside, and the guys can work at the other end." I said, "Okay." Well, it wasn't 6 months later, we took another 5,000 square feet next door. And then after that, after a while, that landlord said to us, you got to go. Because, it stinks. So by then we had learned a lot of lessons about how to control flies, how to control the smell and all that. So we moved to this location. We spent, I don't know, $40,000, $50,000 building a grease trap outside, all approved by the city. And we installed all kinds of things on the inside to keep the plant clean. The way we did the floor, we built in the drainage, the whole thing. And that's how we got to this point.
So now, all of your treats are made by hand, is that correct?
Yeah, well, these, believe it or not, there are people that hand wrap every one of these.
So each one is individually hand wrapped.
Individually hand wrap. We got people and they work on piecemeal. And of course, the government requires that at minimum they have to make minimum wage. Well, these guys.
We won't go into all.
Oh, I won't go on all the.
All that's political. Okay.
No, but all I'm saying is that these guys make a lot of money wrapping these things because they work very, very hard. You saw them because we went on that tour.
Yeah.
But yeah, we started making those, and then the next thing you know, my mind started working, and I started thinking about other products that we could make. And I said, I really like a product that's like a breadstick. So we came up with straws. I started extruding these things, and I tried a whole bunch of different things on how to make these happen. And we eventually figured it out. So now we not only make chicken straws, we make them in beef, we make them in sweet potato, and we make them in beef, turkey, sweet potato. We make a whole bunch of different ways that we make it.
So let me ask you. So this is a huge place. How many square feet do you have here?
Well, we got 23,000 square feet, and we utilize every dang square foot of it.
Wow.
Between shipping and packaging and manufacturing, since none of our stuff is made anyplace else but here. All the production is done right here in Atlanta, Georgia, which is kind of interesting because everybody's heard over the last 12 years about the fact that all of our manufacturing is done in other countries. Well, we went counter to the flow, and we've been manufacturing here in Atlanta for 12 years. It hadn't always been easy, but we've been manufacturing here, and we've developed a number of excellent products as a result of it.
So Al, tell me a little bit about your background. What did you do before you were making
dog treats?
Yeah, where were you born? And tell me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'm from Rhode Island. I was born and raised there. When I got time to go to college, I wanted to get out of Rhode Island, wanted to go someplace new. So I went to school in Memphis. It's kind of funny because I always tell people, everybody in Rhode Island told me, you're going to go to Memphis. He says, they don't like Yankees down there. I don't know how you're going to get along. Them damn people down there, they don't like them here. Let me tell you what, I got down there. I wasn't there a week, and one of my classmates adopted me, took me home to his house with his brothers and sisters, and I lived there for the next 4 years. All I used my college room for was for storing my clothes.
Wow.
And the rest of the time, I was out in Germantown, Memphis, living it up. So.
So now, what did you study at college?
Okay, yeah. Oh, I studied mechanical engineering, and went to work for a number of different companies. I worked for DuPont and U.S. Steel Chemicals, and went that whole route, and then ended up at Russell Stover Candies, and I gave.
What'd you do there?
Well, I was the assistant plant manager. I was responsible for all the maintenance of the equipment and making sure that it all ran and all set up right every day. And then, I got recruited by Keebler Cookies and Crackers. So then I went to work for Keebler Cookies and Crackers, spent 3 or 4 years there. Managed to stay there till I got fucking fired. So, but other than that, it was great. So I got fired and decided I'd go out on my own. And I started doing facility management. I helped open the Atlanta airport way back when.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, the whole thing. I can honestly say I'm the only guy I know who walked the whole airport with nobody in it before it opened.
Wow.
Yeah, so I was probably the last person to ever be in the Atlanta airport by himself.
That's incredible.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Now, Stephanie, your wife didn't want to be on the camera. She's over there on the other side.
Right.
How'd you meet Stephanie? Well, tell me about that.
Oh, Stephanie. Oh, God. I met across a conference room table. I met her, and we took up, and it's a long story. A little bit sordid, but it's pretty good. I'll leave it all out of this thing here, since that's not what we're here to talk about.
Okay.
But, Steph's background is CFO. She's been the CFO. We've been working together most of my life, my business life. Her and I have been working together for 20, 25 years at least. Mm-hmm. Right. So, and then I talked her into coming to work here, and I told her this is going to be real easy. You can do 40, 50 hours a week. You take care of the accounting. It'll be real simple duck soup. Well, it didn't quite turn out that. Yes, Steph is a detailed person, so she got involved in the production, and one thing led to another. So it's now gone from a 40-hour-a-week job to a 24-hour-a-week job. Oh yeah, sometimes she'll stay here around the clock, working on making sure that things are all set up right, so that in the morning the production can proceed as it's going.
Mm-hmm. So now tell me about the sweet potatoes, because I tasted the sweet potatoes, and so these are people can eat those. Is that right?
Oh yeah, but we're not supposed to say that.
Oh, okay. Well,
but we can put it on there, but we don't have to say it.
Yeah, okay. So in other words, don't eat it, but they're edible. In other words.
Yeah, they're edible.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So sweet potatoes. We started, let's see, how the hell did we start making sweet potatoes? Well, we started making sweet potatoes by cutting them and steaming them, just the sweet potato. And I did an extensive study, so I can't tell you all the secrets here, but we figured out how the hell you make sweet potatoes so that they're sweet. So that's a whole process on how you make the sweet potatoes sweet. So it takes, there's a number of steps before we get to this product to make it, or we get to this product to make it. The sweet potato has to be processed to the point where it releases all the sugars. Once you release the sugars in the sweet potato, then when you bite it, you get a sweet taste. So it's good for people who like to eat sweet stuff. And let me tell you, the dogs absolutely adore it. So we started making those, and we started doing the chips. And we've now refined the chips. You can see they're as thin as can be. You can actually see through them. So they're almost like a potato chip, which is what we've been shooting for.
So we got the rawhide, we got the chicken straws, we got the sweet potato chips. What's this other one here?
These are chicken sweet potatoes. Again, we didn't invent the sweet potato. Somebody else. I mean we didn't invent the chip. Somebody else invented it. But what we did is we've improved on it. We've made them thinner, and we make them in chicken, beef, turkey, sweet potato. Am I missing something?
I don't know, but you're using a sweet potato. George Washington Carver would have been real proud of you.
Oh yeah. Oh, these things are outstanding. Yeah, there's nobody that makes these like this.
Yeah, okay. And then what's that in front of you?
This is a chicken wrapped sweet potato. So you got people that don't like to use rawhide, and eat rawhides, but people have been bitching about rawhides coming from China for the last 12, 15 years, saying, oh, they're bad. Let me tell you a little secret. I bet I've sold over 15 million of these.
Wow.
Over 15 million of them. And you know what? We haven't had one dog die or get sick. Now, if you give them too many, they're going to get diarrhea. So when you start a dog eating dog treats, it's always good to give them to them slow. I'll tell you a little story. I had a woman who bought some, and she was talking about, I gave my dog, he liked them. I gave him 5, 6, 7 of these things. And then he had diarrhea. Well, you know what? He's not used to it. So You know, it's always good to just give them one to start with. A couple of days later, you give them two. Now, this is a unique product that we make, again, that nobody makes. We take the sweet potato, and then we dehydrate it, and then we wrap it with...
Don't tell me the secrets now.
No, I won't tell you the secret. Then we wrap it with chicken and dehydrate it. And dogs go absolutely insane for this treat. So you want to give it, should we give one of these guys?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, let's see what happens.
Sandy.
I don't know if you're going to be able to get a video of these guys.
Come here, Sandy. Come on.
Sandy. Oh, fuck, he sees food. He'll be here. Here we go. Do you want to try, you want to try to get a video? I got one apiece.
You want to pick them up and put them in your eye?
Yeah. Come here. Come here. Okay. All right. These are my two new dogs. I named them. This is Sandy, named after my grandfather, Alessandro, so his nickname was Sandy. This one's named after my father, Luigi, right? And we call him Louis. That's what my mother called him. But let me tell you what, they love these things. Look, come here. You want that one? Look at them go. Oh, look, they love fighting over it. Huh?
Now, what kind of dog was Lucky?
Lucky was a combination Maltese. He was 77% Maltese and Bajan. And I have to tell you, he had the most beautiful face you've ever seen. And I just absolutely love that dog. And I got these two, and I have to tell you, I love these dogs, but not like I loved Lucky. Lucky was the love of my life. And he sat in my lap when we drove. He sat right here with his head out the window for 17 years. He'd been sitting in there. We sat there for forever.
Wow. I mean, that's. So tell me about this U.S. production. You're a manufacturer here
In the U.S.
In the U.S.
Right.
And so tell me about just the move from working for someone to entrepreneurship, to doing it. You know, that decision.
Well, I made that decision a long time ago because I have to be honest with you, I just didn't fit into the corporate mold. Mm-hmm. You know, I was kind of like, I was always a little bit of a renegade. I had an entrepreneurial mind. So I started, because I had developed such a relationship with Delta Airlines, they effectively put me in business, in the facility management business. So I managed their properties in San Francisco, Salt Lake, New York, Atlanta. Not all of them, but you know, different ones. Like here, I did their training center, and I did a couple of other buildings. In New York, I did the LaGuardia terminal, managed all the custodial and the mechanical maintenance, from loading bridges where you get off the plane and go into the airport, all that high-end mechanical and I managed all those services. Mm-hmm. I had, at one point, we had 250 people scattered across the U.S. working. Then I got this big contract with FedEx because I became a favorite son with FedEx, at least for a while. And I ended up with all the maintenance in the hub, all the custodial maintenance in the hub. And then I had a couple of hundred locations. I had every FedEx facility east of the Mississippi, with the exception of Illinois, from Maine to the Keys. Every FedEx location, I had people that went in there and did maintenance. And that was a real challenge.
Well, that's incredible. So tell me about, just in terms of industry pet statistics, and do you just talk about how many of these treats do you guys really sell? You don't have to tell me what your numbers are, but just.
Oh, I mean, we sell them all, obviously. I think that the thing that's important to understand is that dogs have become part of the family. And there was a statistic done a few years back, and it said that during recessionary times or when things are down, people will cut back on things that they want in order to make sure that their dog gets the treats and the vets and they get all the things that they want. And of course, then when you get to I lost my train. And then when times are good, they give them whatever they want. Mm-hmm. And so.
Yeah. Well, that's.
You got a couple of things you can cut out there. Anyway.
No, we're gonna leave. Yeah,
oh no.
We're leaving it. We're just having a conversation, and then maybe what we'll do is we'll just just take some shots around around the plant. We won't show anything proprietary or anything like that. And what do you think, producer, cameraman?
I think we've got some pretty good stuff.
We got some good stuff.
I think.
You want to go on? Keep up with.
Well,
no, I'm fine.
You know.
I actually had one question, and this is, I guess, coming from like a up and coming like entrepreneurial aspect.
But
in the instances of competition and following a what's the word I'm thinking of, a plan or a layout or a specific formula that was already laid out. What was your experience with things like that? Were there companies that were similar to your company that you said, okay, I can take this idea from and kind of maximize on it? Or were there things that you saw as a challenge that another company was doing that maybe led your plan in a different route? What was that experience like?
I have always taken the attitude that I'm going to do my own thing. So I tried never to follow what other people were doing. So as a result, everything we've done it from the ground up. So every product that you see here, we have had our personal effort into. You take like the chips and whatnot. These chips and things, we have refined this. And actually, I have to tell you, one of our customers pushed us until we made the chips the way we're making them now, which is very thin, very crisp,
They're almost like cookies.
Yeah. Well, we had a phrase we were using: crisp like a cracker, cracks like a cracker. And Amazon made us take the ad down because it had the word cracker in it. Hey, what the fuck you want me to tell you? I couldn't believe it. I said, what the hell you guys did? What's wrong with the word cracker? Well, that's got all kind of connotations. Hell, you got Ritz crackers, you got all these other crackers. What's wrong with my crackers? So anyway, yeah, so we've tried to separate ourselves. And one of the big things that's important when it comes to our treats, no additives, no preservatives, no fillers. Everything is one ingredient. It's either chicken, beef, or whatever the hell protein we're using. The rest of it, we figured out how the hell you do it without mold and all the problems that you have producing products like this that can easily mold. So we have worked on it, and we've got drying times and things like that to ensure that the product we produce does not come out moldy, does not make people sick, make dogs sick actually, not people sick, but yeah, make dogs sick. So yeah, you want this little piece? Yeah. Don't say I never gave
So tell me
you.
a little bit about your packaging. That those things seem to be pretty unique.
Yeah, well, yes, you know what? We are, again, like I said, we've always shot to be unique. Nobody else in the industry uses jars. So where I got this idea for jars is from Pringles.
Ah, yeah, they do look like, yeah.
So I said, you know what?
I'll bet you somebody would like to sit by their TV on a Sunday, watching a football game, eating their treats or their chips, and they could put a jar of these next to them and give their dog. So, you dog gets a chip, I get a chip, and so that's where this idea came from.
I think that's really beautiful. I noticed that you have, when it comes to the way that you've thought about your products, you put a lot of empathy into it. How would this person feel? How would you wanted to affect people with
Right.
the products that you were making.
Yeah.
That is a very beautiful.
Well, we wanted people to see our product as clean, no additives, preservatives, fillers, because that's the thing everybody bitches about. Well, you buy a product and you look at the label, it's got 82 products on it. You look at our label, it's got one item. There's nothing that holds these things together other than the way we process them. And it's very hard to process, so it's complicated.
Yeah, well, that's good. Well, maybe what we can do is we can just take a couple of shots around the plant.
Right.
You can show us around, and we've got that big picture of Lucky as we walk in.
Right.
And we can maybe perhaps do that if that's all right with the camera person.
Yeah, that's completely fine. Are we okay with cutting?
I don't know. We got any more questions?
I'm good. Do you have anything else you want to say to your customers out there? Thank you.
Well, I want to thank all my customers that buy our treats. Invite those that don't to try them. We also have little packages you can try. And I think you'll find that these products are exceptional. And I think the most important thing is they're safe for your dog. You can rest assured there's none of that stuff that you see on dog treats. And they're fresh. That's the big thing. It's fresh. It's not 6 months produced someplace else, warehouse to warehouse, store to store, to your house. We produce it here, we package it here, and then after we package it, it goes to your house. So the time period is very short, and we strive for that because when the product is fresh, we got two people we're selling to. The first one is you, and you buy that a lot because you look at the package, you see our white, beautiful package, and you say, gee whiz, I think I want to bring that. And then you bring it home and you open it, and your dog loves it. It's not stale, it's fresh, so they go for it right from the beginning. And that's one of the key things that a lot of people don't do with all this stuff that comes from big factories, comes from Thailand, China, Vietnam, and all these other places. These are all manufactured right here in Atlanta, Georgia, and brought to you from us.
All right, I think that's fantastic.
Okay, you happy?